Good morning, cyber friends. This is Midiman coming at you again from Walker's Music. Yet another word for the day. It's a Tuesday morning edition. We give God the glory and all the praise and honor for life, health, and strength. We also thanking for each and every one of you, the cyber friends. You know who you are. I just wanted to say that this morning that Midiman is feeling very, very well. We thank God for the unction. We thank Him for the extra strength that He's given me and enabled me to sit down before you again. And the title of my video, I want to put my keyboard on this morning. The title of my video said, "My weapon, Midiman's weapon against Satan." People are. It's one thing for certain, two things for certain, sure. Satan's never gonna quit. You might as well. I mean, if you getting up every day praying to God to make Satan behave, people, you need to change. I believe you need to change your prayer, because Satan's never gonna quit. As long as we are in this here earth, in this earth suit, Satan's gonna be busy at you, especially if he don't have you. And I've told y'all many times before, if Satan is not bothering you, then that's a great indicator that he already have you. So don't worry about it when you suffer and come upon a trials and temptation. As it tells us in the letter of James in the New Testament, he said, "Count it all joy when you come against and get into trials and temptation, for the trying of your patience. Is at work of your faith." But one thing I wanted to say to everyone this morning that might hear this video, look at this video or whatnot, was my weapon against Satan. And I'm going to give you the answer that I found is the most effective. Now, you may have something different. I'm not for certain. I'm not saying it's not one way. It's probably many ways that you could do out. I'm quite sure there's many ways to fool the devil, because he's not that smart. If you really read your Bible, you'll see that he's not that smart. But he's more powerful than you and I by ourselves. But with Christ, we can do all things. Now, let me give y'all a scenario. You as a Christian, okay, let me first of all tell you what most people that have I'm not going to say they lower than you, because no one is lower than us. We are no better than others, but we just been born again. That's the only thing different than the person that's saved and lost. One is born again, and the other one is not. That's the only difference. But now let me give you a scenario. A born again believer will try to live as Christ wants them to live. That's the answer. A born again believer will try to live as Christ wants them to live. Now, what that means? Trusting in Jesus, trusting in His Word, doing what He say. We know that we cannot do everything. Neither do we want to do everything. People, I know what I used to do, and it's not about me to sit here and tell you everything that I used to do. But I'm just saying, I know that there are some things that in my past that I would never want to do again if I could help it in my own strength. I would never do it, but I cannot rely on my flesh. Therefore, seeing that I cannot rely on my flesh, and neither can you, you must stay in the Word. You must stay in the Word, because that's where your strength is going to come from. The joy of the Lord is our strength. And where do we get the joy? By reading His Word, understanding the promises that He's made in His Word, and we receive it, and we take it face value, not doubting anything, and we walk the road to glory. That's the way we get our joy. Now, let me tell you what happened. As you try to do that, as you try to follow Christ's precepts, as you try to follow in His footsteps, you're going to always have the enemy, Satan, coming through various people, telling you, oh, you can do this, and you ain't got to be, it don't take all of that. They don't take all that. They make very, very clear cuts at you to tell you why it doesn't take all of that the way to do what you're trying to do in your walk with Christ. It don't take all that. But nevertheless, on the reverse of that, you look at their lives, they do everything under the sun. Everything under the sun. They want to be involved in everything. They want to do. And then we as Christians, we don't bother them. Well, now, let me make that a little bit more personal. I can only speak for myself. I don't bother them. Whatever people decide that they want to do, that's their business. And I have no problem with it. If you don't want to serve the Lord, that's your prerogative. But that's not going to stop me from telling you. Now, you can do with it what you want, but that's not going to stop me from telling it, because I have a commission to preach and teach this gospel. So I'm going to preach and teach it, whether you accept it or receive it or not. That's not going to stop me. But nevertheless, they'll tell you, oh, it don't take all that. It don't take all that going to church. It don't take all that. Yes, it take that and some more people. But let me give y'all the number one secret before I go any further than here. The secret, Midiman's weapon against Satan, guess what it is? You ready? Silence. Silence. That's the best weapon to defeat Satan. Silence. You know what? I once heard, I forget who I heard say this first. God knows I wished I did so I could give them the credit. But I remember hearing someone say this here, that you can't, silence cannot be misquoted. Matter of fact, I think it was Mike Murdoch. He said silence cannot be misquoted. In other words, if you just hush your mouth. See, first of all, now, when Satan wants to get next to you, he don't do it from an enemy. He do it from the person that's closest to you. He knows how to get and push the right button. They know how to push the right button. But if you could learn that one thing in that fruit of the Spirit, self-control. Self-control. Because it's so tempting people when people at you and just keep on at you. They want to strike back. It's so natural they want to strike back, and they tell them everything that they ain't about and what and explore all their fault. But no, Jesus didn't tell us to explore anybody's fault. He told us to live the light, be the light of the world. So in other words, when people get after me, whether it come from the wife or come from the brother or sister, whoever it might be, and I see the devil in them, what I do, I be quiet. I just hush. I don't give them nothing to come back off. See, if you keep talking, you're going to fuel the fire, and it's never going to go out. So silence is the best thing. When you know that you are trying to do the best that you can, cut the debt. See, I'm not responsible for how you feel about me or how you treat me, but I am responsible for how I respond to these things. See, exterior circumstances, people cannot do you no harm, but if you let them in, that's when they can do harm. So in other words, when people get to talking stupid and talking about why they don't take all that, well, you know, don't try to go back at them and talk about, well, why did you do what you do? No, don't do that. Just hush and let your light shine. Be silent. Silence is the weapon that will force deception to reveal itself. You ain't got to argue with people. You ain't got to keep asking them why they do this and how come you don't like me and blah, blah. I ain't worried about who don't like me. Just get in line. But the thing of it is, if I just be silent, be still, and I will see the salvation of the Lord. See, in other words, the patience. If I just be patient, it'll reveal the negative people in my life. If I just be patient, all of it will come to pass. And just as it worked for me, it'll work for you too out there. Sisters and brothers, I'm telling you, keep working for the Lord. It's not in vain. When people tell you it don't take all that, you add a little bit more to it. It takes all of that and then some. Matter of fact, they tell you it don't take all of that, what you were doing, but nevertheless, they don't miss no parties, nothing. They don't miss none of the stuff that they enjoy doing, and neither should they. If that's what you want, if you like it, Midiman loves it. But don't take what I do. Don't try to turn mine, because I have a will, or you have a will to live godly in Christ Jesus. doing the best you can, falling every step of the way. We're not perfect, none of us, but we are trying. We fall down, we get back up. We fall down, we skin our knee, we put a Band-Aid on it, and we keep going. It ain't that we got everything right and perfect, but we have made a decision that we will follow Christ. What is that song? I'm determined. I believe it said, I'm determined to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. In other words, see, when I was in the Word, I did just what I wanted to do. Every time I felt like whatever it was I wanted to do, I did not hold no limit on what I could do. And that's the same way I am now with Christ. I'm going to live my life, and I'm not going to be under no condemnation, because I'm under no condemnation. And you are not under no condemnation. Don't let people condemn you for the way you live. They call you a preacher's kid, or you an old goody two-shoe Christian or whatnot. Let me tell you something, people. Jesus said, upon this rock I will build my church, and you are the church, I'm the church. And if we don't be the light of the world, guess what? We are defeating the purpose. Jesus said that the very gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So in other words, he did not say that we wasn't going to come against. We are going to get persecuted. But we, as the blood-bought church of Jesus Christ, we should be bold and stand as lions. Don't let the view of the world change our view. In other words, the Bible is very clear on certain things. We know we don't live the Ten Commandments. We cannot keep the Ten Commandments. We don't walk by that anymore. But those laws are very good. There was nothing wrong with the law. It was something wrong with us. But Jesus came and he kept that law perfect. So therefore, what we need to do, we need to get in Jesus, and therefore we are covered now. Jesus took sin far away. So now we walk in newness of life. I don't have to worry about keeping the letter of the law. It's by grace that I'm saved, and you are saved as well. It is by grace. It's the gift of God. But after we get this gift, that doesn't give us license now just do anything we want to do. This is the problem with a lot of people. They miss the grace message. They think that grace gives them the ability or the right to just live any kind of way, no kind of responsibility, no responsibility for your own action. Just do and then live your lives and just flutter around as you please, and then use the grace of God as your escape. It's very dangerous, people. I don't see that in the Bible, and that's the only thing I'm gonna deal with that. But I already know that he said that if Jesus said, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. He said, my commandments not grievous. Hear ye, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God. Therefore love the Lord with all your heart, soul, mind, body, and strength, all your strength. And the second one is like it. Love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two rest all the law and the prophet. So in other words, when we do what Jesus said, we will love ye one another. That is the greatest commandment. Love. So people, remember, best weapon against Satan, silence. Be still and wait on the salvation of the Lord. The Lord will deliver his own. And so when you get these here crazy people talking about it, don't take all that, add some more to it, because you can rest assured you're on the right road to glory. This is Midiman saying, hopefully we'll see you tonight at Blog Talk Radio Bible Study. Walk through the Word, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you there. Be blessed.